I don't know about you. This seems a little anti-American to me. Yep, those are chants in the middle of Dearborn, Michigan, calling for the death of America, as Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk have some very interesting reactions to this, as some people are arguing that the Podesta plan is in full swing. What is the Podesta plan? Well, Alex Jones breaks it down very well, as Roger Stone just came out with a very good article on the stonecoldtruth.com. Go check out his website. He does great stuff, saying congressional seditionists are emboldened by lack of deep state prosecutions. As I would argue, we are in a very critical time in this country where action, some say, needs to happen more than ever. And it looks like Donald Trump is answering back, as he had some very interesting proclamations and executive orders today, and use of words that at least open up the Overton window. As, of course, a lot of people are saying, red alert, we are in some major troubles ahead. As Alex Jones is talking about how the White House is actually listening to him. Are they? As he prescribes the problem inside of this country in a very specific, interesting way. We're going to be going over all of that and a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate these types of conversations, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. As, of course, this clip was in America. This is what Fox News had to say about it.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib?
Now, personally, I'm not a fan of, you better condemn everything that happened. I think we could be a little bit better than that as the right here. But at the same time, there are a lot of double standards out there. There's a lot of hypocrites out there, as Rashida Tlaib was actually asked about this, and she refused to condemn it.
I don't talk to Fox News.
At a rally in your district, people were chanting death to America. Do you condemn?
I don't talk to Fox News.
But do you condemn chants of death to America?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Racist tropes. Talk about snowflakes. The governor of Florida responded to this by saying, what are we doing to ourselves here? Elon Musk responded to the governor of Florida by saying, without drastic action, they will succeed in killing America. As people in the chat argue, they already did that. As a lot of people are talking about survival instinct and how we need to actually galvanize legitimate actions right now, or, quote, we're going to be conquered and taken over. Alex Jones, by the way, is calling out MSNBC, who, a CIA-connected broadcaster, right after CIA-connected Democrats called for the military not to listen to Donald Trump, tried to somehow defend the horrible actions that happened at the National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. a few days ago, right before Thanksgiving.
Walking around with uniforms in an American city, there are some Americans that might object to that.
Yeah, they object to that because they work with ICE. What?
Ladies and gentlemen, just when you think the corporate whore media can't go any lower, they do. Ken Delaney, the MSNBC reporter that famously got caught at the LA Times and fired for working with the CIA planning fake news, Operation Mockingbird, has come out and said, hey, the Afghan shooter of the National Guard, he thought they were ICE, so, people are upset about this. I'm about to play the clip. I mean, how do you get this evil?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot of leftists, a lot of Democrats are okay with political violence. A lot of them don't condemn it. A lot of them don't even speak out against it. Some of them are just afraid of it. Now, how far have we gone as a country, especially with illegal immigration, with this type of radicalization that has happened with intel agency controlled type of algorithms that have shifted the conversation where the left feels very comfortable calling for the taking out of the right wing, while the right wing was too afraid to even say learn to code. Roger Stone has an interesting article saying that this is a violent color revolution coming our way. We better prepare for it. We better take some action. And the action comes by going after the deep state. And I agree. The lack of action against the deep state, especially with the failed prosecution of James Comey and others, is leading to a lot of people to kind of worry here, saying, are we going to do anything about this? This is a serious, legitimate security threat and concern here. As Donald Trump is acting and responding to the horrible action that happened against these two National Guardsmen by announcing that the United States will now re-examine all green cards issued to people from 19 countries of concern, per the White House. Which countries are those? First of all, Afghanistan. Yeah, Afghanistan. The person that took out the National Guardmen came from Afghanistan, but also most importantly, was recruited, trained, and a professional with secret black ops CIA operations. Yeah, that's interesting. Burma, Chad, Republic of Congo, Guyana, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Bahrain, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. As people are saying, you're nuts not to exclude Syria and Turkey. As, of course, that would kind of mess up the relations that Trump is trying to set up there. As a president of the United States also vowed some other executive actions. Is it going to be enough? Well, we're going to talk about those actions, and we're going to talk about what Alex Jones is saying as well. Before we do, just really quickly and shortly, check out wearechange.shop. If you scroll down, we made Christmas very easy for you. And right here are our bundles. We got the for her bundle, for him bundle. You got a dad, you got a mom, you got a sister, you got a brother, you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, you got a son, whatever it is. We made it easy. We put it in a very nice box. And it's like males, females. It might be confusing for some Democrats to understand that, but two packages for two groups of people that are out there. The For Him bundle really is great because you have a really funny hat that says Make America Not Fat Again. You have fish oils, great, especially if you have a smoker in your life. Look up those studies, fish oils and smokers. We have the magnesium mist to help relax. You spray those on your bunions. You spray those on your feet right before you go to sleep. We got ashwagandha, major testosterone booster. Just make sure that this is going to be right for the individual to take. Do your own homework, do your own research. And of course, these are just great bundles. You get them in the package. The female one, also a really great one that's going to help them cognitively, emotionally, with their nervous systems. A magnesium glycinate, great for that, great for sleep, great for peace. Same with creatine. Creatine, really awesome. Lots of really incredible studies surrounding that. And we're going to be mailing them out in the next few coming days. I know our creatine is on back order, but we're going to make sure that we prioritize these gift boxes first. We got the magnesium mist there. We got everything here. Get them while supplies last. Supplies are limited, and we're going to make sure that these gift baskets get out there before Christmas, especially when you order them now. So order them now. We're mailing them here directly inside of my own place, right? We're doing it. Stephanie Bush, the button pusher, is doing it. We're working very hard, and I will be helping her, and we're going to make sure the packages get out there on time. Anyway, President Trump also just vowed to pause all immigration into the United States from, quote, third world countries, as he vowed to denaturalize migrants who, quote, undermine domestic tranquility. What does that mean? What does that include? Does that include people yelling death to America? Or does that include actual criminals that have committed criminal actions? Again, we're going to wait for those official kind of classifications in order to fully understand here. As we know, Trump talks a tough game, and usually there are some problems with kind of delivering some action sometimes, whether it's by court challenges or by mishaps, as Trump just officially also used the word that we don't know if we could use on this particular platform. Personally, great. As now, the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, also just immediately announced we're cutting off all federal benefits to illegal aliens. There's a lot of people are saying, look, we got to help out Americans. And if we're not helping out Americans, who are we helping out? And why are we going out of our way to lose all our money, especially when we're getting indebted so much? As right now, one of the biggest actions is Donald Trump declaring that any document signed by President Joe Biden's auto pen, quote, is hereby terminated. As he notes that Sleepy Joe Biden used the auto pen approximately 92% of the time, and he has declared it is hereby terminated and no longer in effect. Now, he's arguing legally, and it might get challenged in the Supreme Court. We'll see how this type of scenario unfolds from here. It's going to be interesting to see the kind of legal challenges that are going to be brought to this. But especially when it comes to executive orders, listen, when the other person from the other political party gets into political office, they're just like, oh, yeah, you did all these executive orders. Doesn't matter. Goodbye. I rescind them. And they do that. We saw Joe Biden do that to Trump as soon as Joe Biden came into political office. We saw Trump do that to Biden. Now, if there's a Democrat that's going to win political office, they are going to get rid of all of the executive actions that Donald Trump has imposed, as of course, Donald Trump's not passing a lot of legislation. His executive orders aren't being codified. The people on the right are looking at the situation saying, look, there's violent leftists preventing speech in places like Berkeley, threatening people, harassing people, showing up there at their doors. And there is some action here that there previously wasn't done before. People who are being swatted, the swatters are actually finally being held accountable for it, which to me is an overall good sign. Now, you're always going to have people complaining. You're always going to have people saying, hey, you're not doing enough. And I think at this time and moment, especially with the midterms shaping up to be a major blue wave, which everyone is expecting, a lot of people want more action codified, passed, done legally, especially action directed against the deep state, since, of course, the deep state has not yet been held responsible. And Donald Trump will be politically isolated on his own island as soon as the Democrats get majority of the Congress and the Senate. Once that happens, he's going to be impeached, and he's going to deal with a lot of pressure. Now, here's Alex Jones talking about Red Alert. He's talking to the people at the White House that are listening to him on these types of initiatives.
Powerful forces that want to take control of this nation, and that what we need to do with Trump is...
He later then previously described, look what happened to Europe. Europe opened up their borders, and what happened to the local populations there? What's happening with elections there? What's happening in places like London, people in places like France, where now they have a welfare state. Now, overwhelmingly, people vote for left-wing political candidates. New York City, some people are saying, is a hallmarker of what has happened to Europe is happening here, with, of course, the borders being left wide open, taxes, regulations, rules being extremely high so people can't survive because they're paying for the people that are literally replacing them coming into their country and then saying death to their country. As some would say, that's a red alert, like Alex Jones would, and he continues on with his sentiment and sentence here.
Stay on his administration, spotlight who is weak, expose who's not doing their job, and also lift up and support those that are doing their job. And I have to tell you that the White House has contacted me. They've had Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, probably the best pollster in the world, up there last week from my show to brief the president and others. I mean, they're really listening. When I told the White House what they needed to, how they needed to respond to these Democrats trying to undermine the military and call for a coup, I literally saw them 2 days later put the talking point out that I wrote. So the good news is this is a responsive White House.
Alex, just...
Now, they, of course, were predominantly focused on immigration and the Muslim invasion. And if the White House is listening to Alex Jones, it is a kind of interesting type of scenarios. Of course, Alex has always been warning about false flag operations and the intel agencies using specific sects of radicalized Islam for their personal attacks. Now, of course, Michael Flynn was on his show, literally warning that there's going to be terror attacks that we're going to be dealing with here, as there are arguments being made right now that we are being invaded, and there are serious threats that are building up and fomenting what some people believe to be a big kind of civil clash here. And if that's the case here, a lot of people are saying we need more deportations. We need less of our money going towards immigration and harboring and festering and building it. As, of course, this not only gives the Democrats a huge unfair advantage in Congress and their representation, especially in the census where they're listing. This is why Donald Trump is saying we need a new census. This is why Donald Trump is saying we got to get rid of the filibuster, because we get rid of the filibuster, we can now finally pass through legislation, because the Democrats are going to get rid of the filibuster anyway. We need to do it ourselves. And when we do it ourselves, we're able to, of course, fast forward our agenda and put in, most importantly, voter ID, which means people have to show their identifications, which means Democrats can't allegedly rig the upcoming midterm elections. And that's what Donald Trump is trying to do here. And so far, it looks like he's not that successful, especially with major people from Congress like MTG saying, I'm out. Peace. We have Mike Cernovich being like, please don't leave. We need whatever slim majority we have here in order to pass legislation. And she's like, I'm out. And then I like MTG, but I think her comments were a little bit too emotional, to be quite honest with you. And I disagreed with her kind of response to Mike Cernovich that was saying, hey, just stay in Congress a little bit longer. Can we just try to get some things done? As she says, I'm getting threatened. And listen, I understand. The threats get a little bit too much sometimes, and it's a lot to deal with. But I found this part from what Alex was talking about before his kind of description of them, of him talking to the White House and them listening to his actions. I found this part pretty interesting.
And let them know, get the hell out. Europe's probably unsavable. The UK may be dead. They're literally invading Ireland. The government arrests you if you even criticize them in any way while they rape and murder.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. It's like, I was looking at stories today. People say mean things online. They hurt someone's feelings. Cops are like, hey, open up. And that you're going to jail. Meanwhile, there are entire grooming gangs. There's entire criminal, sinister organizations out there that literally are taking native-born white children and putting them into slavery. And then the cops are like, yeah, we can't be racist. We can't stop these guys. It's going to look bad. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely terrifying, because that is coming to the United States unless stopped. So far, I would say Trump has not been stopping it. And I think, therefore, there needs to be more action, specifically when it comes to protecting people's privacy, anonymity, civil liberties, and rights. When it comes to that, and Trump passing and pushing the facial recognition real ID, he's setting up all of the major apparatuses that will be used against him, as he is probably facing the same future as Bolsonaro, unless he's going to act on it. Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil, also targeted for assassination, likely it didn't work, now in jail for 27 years, exhausted all appeals, and is going to be in jail for 27 years.
We are under absolute, barbaric, premeditated, total war. And so there are a lot of great Texans still. But Florida, I have to say, has more of an awakening spirit and understanding what's happening.
I agree. That's why I'm here. Why do you think I'm in Florida? I saw the writing on the walls, and I'm like, this is the Alamo. I went to Texas, and I'm looking at all this like weird, like woke, leftist, liberal ideology everywhere, and I'm like, I don't want to live here. You crazy? I was during the coup. Before the coup, I was running around all over the world, and then part time, I had family in New York City. I was hanging out in New York City, but I wasn't there. The little I was like, this is horrible. Coup happens, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm on the road, and I checked out a bunch of different places. I checked out New Hampshire. I checked out West Virginia. I checked out Texas. I checked out Florida. And I'm like, I talked to people when I did my deep dive and my research and my analysis. There's a lot of things to kind of look into and consider what is good for you personally. And I bugged the hell out. And I couldn't be any happier. I chose Florida. Florida, an ever so red state. Texas, becoming a little bit purple there, which is not smart.
Than Texas. Now, Texas, again, has classic rhino Republicans that make deals with Democrats. The governor, is going in the right direction in many ways. But he's tried to pass laws like Florida that if you're...
But in places like Dearborn, Michigan, it's like, well, that place is gone. Places like New York City with Zohran Mamdani, that place is gone. Yeah, Chicago, gone. LA, my opinion, gone. Nevada, purple. Georgia, getting redder. And we are really seeing a major transformation of our country that there's no going back from unless there's successful actions by Donald Trump.
Prayer rooms in the public schools everywhere. You wouldn't have a chapel for Christians or Catholics. This is outrageous.
Yeah. And this is what Alex brought up here. He was like, you're protecting one group of people. Can you guess what they are in the Middle East? But white people that are being discriminated against, that are dealing with racist actions, you're not doing anything for. Right? And still, huge discrimination happens, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Which is crazy and insane. If you agree with that, share this video. Thank you so much for supporting us on wearechange.shop. We made gift shopping easy for you. We got that for who, just easy. Just write your name. Get the package. Literally, take off the shipping label. You literally just take a marker or pen, write your name. Boom, we got it for you. Wearechange.shop. Thank you so much for supporting independent media, going there, sharing this video, subscribing. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.